Hi. Exactly. Go birds. um, hey y'all. So, good evening. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Becky Brown Girl Show. I'm your girl BBG, and tonight I wanted to talk about workplace relationships, and definitely not talking about the Falcons. I want to talk about workplace relationships and what y'all think about mixing business and personal. If you think it's a good idea, if you think it's a bad idea, it can work, it can't work, so on and so on. So assuming that you're not already blissfully booed up, like, how do you meet people at this age? Because most of my followers are somewhere in the like 35 plus range. So most of my followers are somewhere in the 35 plus range. And, the older you get, if you end up single, I feel like your options for meeting people, not that they diminish, but like the places that you would go to meet people change, right? And so you spend so much of your time working, if assuming that you work. I know everyone doesn't have a traditional, corporate job, or, maybe they work for themselves, whatever the case may be. If you work in a traditional corporate setting or for someone else, you work around other people, right? You probably spend more time in your workplace than you do at home. And so therefore it's possible, if you're at a place long enough, that you'll develop a rapport with the people that you work with. And so, I'm just curious, like, what you guys think about getting involved with somebody that you have such close proximity to. Because actually, I had asked earlier if, anyone was interested in sharing their story, if they've dated someone, if they've related to someone, how it turned out. And 2 men DM'd me saying that they met their wives at work. One who's been married for like 34 years or something. And then the other one, unfortunately, he had been married to his wife a long time, but she passed, sadly. So, but otherwise, I'm sure, they would still be married. Sounds like they were pretty happy together. So, but there's also potential for that situation to go left. And, so my initial thought was, I don't think it's a good idea, like, because you don't want to do anything that's going to potentially mess up the bag. But, oh, would you, Rubber Band Man? But also, I don't know if any of you saw, well, I know some of you saw it. I posted this reel in my story, and it was basically showing how men like to gossip, sometimes more than, sometimes as much as women, and how this, couple who was, I guess sleeping together or whatever, the woman was like, don't go into work letting people know, what's going on between us, keep it on the low. He's like, of course. He couldn't wait to get there and tell his friends. Raggedy. And that's, part of the reason why those type of situations can't work, because people don't know how to have discretion about themselves, right? So, and in some places you can get in trouble for being involved with a coworker, especially if you have like a direct, supervisor, subordinate type of situation. If you work in the same department, it just can get to be very messy and weird. So Yito says, I dated someone and I was her manager. A bit awkward, but we managed. Only lasted 1 year though. It got overbearing. Yeah, and then you're like always with the person. I don't know. I actually know a few couples who work together. And the other part is that sometimes it gets weird for the people who are like around them, because like when they get into stuff, it's just like you're in the middle of their business, and I don't think people really want you in their business like that, but you're bringing your business in a place around other people. So you're inviting them into whatever is going on in your personal relationship, and you know, people love to be in other people's business and creating chaos and drama and all type of stuff. So in any case, I would love to know, because I see some saying, sure. Yeah, okay, ill since I see you saying you meet them through friends of friends. But a lot of people are like not single in real life. So I don't know, does that really work? Anyway, who actually has a story that they would like to share about dealing with someone in the workplace? Have you ever had a work wife? I think most of the people on here are men, or a work husband. I feel like those type of relationships are not necessarily, I don't think they're bad as long as they remain confined in the work setting. Like when it spills over into the real world, that's when it can get to be, you know, kind of messy, kind of awkward. I've had a work husband before. He used to take me to lunch all the time, and he would give me really good advice, and in fact, people thought that there was something going on between us because they would see us together a lot. And I mean, he was, you know, he was an attractive guy, so I understand why they would assume that, but no, we were just, you know, we were very cool. And I did hang out with him once or twice outside of work. But he was younger than me, and so no. Anyway, does anyone want to share their experience? So not just me. No, it doesn't just have to be about the sex, rubber band man. I'm saying it can be whatever you mutually agree that the relationship should be. So, yeah, maybe you can carry on a relationship like that, and that's cool. But I feel like sex changes things. I know men don't necessarily perceive it that way. Although sometimes, you know, y'all be acting crazy too, so don't front. But yeah, I think you just have to be very careful, because you certainly don't want to jeopardize your livelihood over no P or D. Or do you? If you meet somebody and you fall in love in work, or in a professional work setting where you have to deal with this person on a regular basis, would you be willing to like leave a company? Would you be willing to whatever? Would you be willing to do something that affects your livelihood for love? I'm gonna guess no, but you know, stranger things have happened, right? So Lever Puller says, if the connection is genuine and interests are amicable from both parties, the setting shouldn't bear weight on where that situation goes. Yeah, but what if it goes bad? Then you have to see this person all the time. It's just awkward. Like, I don't know. That's one of the reasons why I'm inclined to say no. But as I said, a couple people DM me talking about how they were married to, or rather they are married to women that they met, you know, in the workplace. And I mean, that's great if you can do that. But see, and then Yido75 says it's like you're together 24/7. It gets to be too much. That's kind of how I would feel. Like, you have to have the chance to miss your partner. And you spend enough time working, ideally not to, well, I won't say ideally. If you don't work together, it gives you an opportunity to actually miss the person, as opposed to you work together, you live together, you see them all the time. Like, that's great if you're really in love, but even when you're really in love, they're gonna get on your nerves sometimes. So I don't know. Like I said, I do know a few couples who, work together at businesses together, and they make it work somehow. I feel like COVID definitely changed the dynamic of the workplace, of course. So it probably would make a situation like that a little bit easier because, some people work remote, some people work in person. So you're not necessarily with them all the time, even if you do work in the same place. So you can maintain some kind of separation. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, Nola Legend, why are you sending me angry faces? Oh, okay, Rubber Band Man. So I'm gonna add you then. Um, I'm gonna send you a request. Okay. So just hold on a minute. Okay. So accept my request, please. Um, the guy I was saying who was married for a long time. I had asked him to join, but he can't, unfortunately. So, uh, Rubber Band Man, are you gonna join or no? I sent you the request. Y'all be killing. First of all, Mike on the mic, you don't love them hoes, so I'm not listening to nothing you have to say. Um, blessed be thy, married my wife from work. We've been together for 13 years now. I still would not encourage it. Would you be willing to share how y'all ended up together then? Because why wouldn't you? I mean, if you've been together that long, obviously something worked out. Um, okay, what? Well, why did you tell me you would share? Uh, Guido, I'm good. It's also different for women as well because they are looked at differently if the relationship doesn't work out. Right. But the whole thing is, if that's why is that the case? It's because somebody is not being discreet. And it's probably the man. Um, which is why, you might hesitate to get involved because you never know. Like, yeah, a man will tell you anything to get what he wants. Then when he get it, now he don't know how to act. Now I want to tell everybody like he's a little kid or like he's not used to it. And yes, you're right. It does put you in a negative light. Um, well, I don't know if it puts you in a negative. Well, maybe it does. I mean, I'm sure that's what the men would think, right? Um, okay, are you gonna join Rubber Band Man or not? And then Nola Legend, I don't understand why you're sending me mad faces. That's not nice. Um, let me see. You don't know a good thing until it's gone. That's what Yido75 says. Give me a chance to miss you. Again, I don't disagree with you. Um, it goes bad if boundaries aren't established beforehand, but mm, yeah, but sometimes, and I'm sure, the men will attest, even if you're actually truthful upfront, which a lot of y'all, um, people catch feelings even when they say they're cool with something, and then you have a problem on your hands. So, oh my God, what is happening? Okay, I'm sent. I'm trying to accept your request. I don't know what you're doing. Um, so does anyone else have anything they'd like to add besides me? Okay, I, I'm trying to add you, Rashawn, but um, for whatever reason, it's not working. So, in the beginning, it's awesome, but toward the end, we mutually agreed to end things. Well, that's cool. I mean, again, if y'all can be mature about it and remember that ultimately you're both professionals and you want to maintain your, professional position and you want people to respect you and not look at you crazy in the office because they know all type of stuff about you that they have no business knowing. Man, I don't know. I can't add you. I'm Dave Speed. A real relationship is a definite no from me. Why? Why would you say something like that? Well, no, 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 no. We can't do it like this, rubber band man. This is why it's not working. Just let me add you, go out and then stay out and then just come back. Oh, boy. Um, People only want time and space away to do them. I would love to work with or around the person I want to be with long term. Mm, I don't know. I just feel like I would feel like it would get old. I agree with whoever said you could do something like casually and um maybe it could evolve into something else, who knows? But I don't think I would go into it with the expectation that like I'm gonna find the love of my life at work because yeah, the idea of spending who me? I don't have trust issues. No, stop sending me a request to be in my video. You can't. Just go out and come back, please. Rubber band man. Um, and I don't think it's that people only want time and space because they're doing them. I think absence makes the heart grow fonder. I also think that I think in a healthy relationship, you should have like couple time. If you have kids, then you should have family time. And then you should have like your individual time to do whatever it is that you might enjoy doing. It could just be doing nothing, right? Just away from people. Like you need that time to be able to decompress. And it's hard to do that when you are constantly around the person, especially if they're like kind of clingy. Um, I don't know. I don't remember who said, they agreed that you need time to miss them, but um okay, so rubber band man, do me a favor, leave the live and come back and do not try to go live with me. I will just send you a request, okay? Is this easier that way? Um I see Miss Lisa on here. Do you have anything you want to add? I did the relationship on the job thing a couple of times. One was a serious thing, one was just fun. Neither worked out. Did anybody ever have like a crazy situation where somebody turned into a stalker? Um, you know what I will say though, Nola legend. He said absence makes people look for other people to fill those gaps. That's the other side to that coin. What I will say is you, my opinion is that you should be your partner's biggest hype person, right? A lot of people will like be real excited about you in the beginning and and like then they don't want to keep that same energy, like okay, now I got you, and they just take you for granted like nobody else would be interested, and that's wild to me. Like why do you not continue to hype your person up? Why do you feel like that makes you a simp? Or why would a woman, I think women don't feel that way. I think men feel that way more. And it's whack. Like, I think that's so whack. I'm sorry. It's corny. Like, because when you're not doing that, somebody else is. And that's the time that somebody else can infiltrate your happy home because, you like take him for granted, which you should be hyping up. You dig? I don't know. My 2 cents. Did you ever leave Rubber Band Man? I don't think this is gonna work. Um, leave and come back. Please. Don't just keep sending me requests. It's not gonna work. Clearly. Okay. Um, yeah, you know what? That's also a very good point. Now, I don't want to get into, a racial conversation. However, I appreciate Dave Speed's perspective that, he's looks to be a black man. He works with Caucasian women. Nowadays, you just have to be very careful because that's something I hadn't even considered. When I thought about this subject, like you could really, besides like people gossiping and being in your business, like you could potentially get yourself into trouble if somebody like misrepresents the nature of your relationship with them. And it could have been totally consensual, but like let's say, as a man, you decide you're over it, you want to break it off, and she's whipped, or it would be more likely to happen in that scenario. And now she want to say you did something that you didn't do. Like you got to be real careful. I mean, I don't know. It's not the old days. Only date the work people if they leave. Wouldn't it be awkward? So Ill Sense says, wouldn't it be awkward hollering at someone at work and they aren't interested? Then you got to see them every day after. Um, that's why y'all have to be more discerning. Like y'all got to pick up clues, cause I feel like women flirt in a less obvious way than y'all do, and yeah, it would be awkward. You just have to be prepared that that could be the outcome. Or, maybe she would find you attractive or be interested in you outside of the workplace, but she's more concerned about protecting her livelihood. And so, you know, so maybe she doesn't want to go there with you. Um, I don't know what you're saying yes to. Hello. Um, sauce money. Okay, if the relationship's already strong, absence wouldn't make one go cheat. To me, that's an excuse to cheat. It's not about cheating though. Like it doesn't have okay, obviously if you have a relationship at home, there's potential if you get real close to somebody at work that it could go in that direction. So I'm talking about a few different scenarios. I'm talking about um if you're single and you just, meet somebody in the workplace. Um a few people said they met their spouses in the workplace, so clearly it works for them. But if you have an outside relationship and then you get to be close with somebody that you work with, yes, that can create a problem if you don't establish a boundary. Like my thing was, I don't think having a work husband or a work wife is bad until you start putting them all up in your personal business, like personal relationship business, or that situation carries over into like regular life. Um, and so the boundaries start getting blurred, or like your spouse, your partner doesn't know the work wife or husband, or the work wife husband starts acting funny around your partner, your spouse, when they meet them in real life. Yeah, then you got a problem. But it's up to you, the person in between, to manage that. So I don't think the work husband or wife is necessarily bad. It just has to be a very like, I don't know. You have to be careful with that, I guess. But I don't think it's the worst thing ever. Wait, I forgot. Ito says I forgot to mention that the 1 year relationship turned sticky because it made her coworker jealous and she started hitting on me at work to make it more awkward. Well, somebody must have been talking then, see? White Twice Video Sports, would you share your experience on camera? Would you be willing to join? He says, I forgot to mention, oh, I'm sorry, wrong person. So White Twice Video Sport says, no, crazy situation I had was several were in group chat and two brought me up and two played. Well, how many was you messing with? See, you messy. Never mind. You messy. And I would love to know where you worked that you were messing with that many women. Raggedy. Okay. Um, Rob Jr. says, I wasn't involved in a stalker situation, but I witnessed someone else go through that. It wasn't pretty. They both lost their jobs. Exactly. And that's where it gets real funky. Um, so yeah, it's possible if you keep your business private, but as established, and I do think this is the case. So my take on like men who, brag on their is because they're not used to getting play. Um, so because I feel like a man who's used to getting it, it's like regular stuff to him. But a man who's like, oh my God, I can't believe she gave me some. Now I gotta tell everybody. Um, me- Meanwhile, he's shooting himself in the foot because when she find out that he's like spreading her business around and telling everybody, she don't want nothing to do with him. Like it's super corny. We are too damn old. I could understand if you were 20 something years old, but at 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus, I mean, stop it now. Um, yes, a man should be used to rejection. That's just, it's the way it is. Y'all want to be in charge, so you gotta, gotta put yourself out there and let the chips fall where they may. Um, do I think it depends. I mean, all of these situations depend on who is involved. It depends on the maturity level. It depends on the transparency level of the people involved. Like, do they share that they have this relationship with someone that they work with? If they keep it platonic, like I think you can, go out with them, have lunch and so on. It it depends on what kind of conversations are being had. It depends on what type of interactions are being had. It depends on the frequency with which these interactions are occurring. It depends on a lot of factors. So, like let's say if I had a work husband that I wasn't like he was just real nice and friendly to me, but I wasn't attracted to him like that. Well, I can guarantee you that it's a no from me, dog. So my man would have nothing to worry about because I'm not even attracted to this guy. Like if it's somebody that you're attracted to, maybe that's where it gets a little bit trickier. Um, okay, so Mr. Carter says, I feel like as long as your communication and your boundaries are amazing, you won't have any problems. Clear conversations about intentions are needed as well. But do y'all communicate? This question is for the fellas, because generally speaking, y'all communication is, I don't know. Like y'all say we talk too much, but y'all don't talk enough. And so I feel like that's where miscommunication occurs. Um, some I hear some men saying like they think women can't handle the truth, like they say they want you to be honest, but they can't handle it. Um, that's probably true in certain aspects, but if you set a precedent of being a liar, then nobody's going to believe anything you say after that, even if everything you say after that is the truth. Especially when you start lying about little things in the beginning. Like, why would I take your word? I have no frame of reference of the type of person you are, unless like I was introduced to you through somebody I know. So if you're a stranger to me and you lying off the top, you're out of here. I can't. Um, so you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to, you have to be transparent, and the person that you're with has to be receptive to you being that transparent. And you're right. Some women would prefer to be lied to. I mean, look, sometimes I might like to be lied to too, but about certain things, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, what do you mean you disagree, Greg Starr? Can you elaborate? And Paul Lewis, what kind of rules that could help if you choose? Right. I mean, again, we talked about the scenario where um MK Kemper said it didn't work out for Demi Moore and Michael Douglas. Right. Okay. But that dynamic is her and her boss, and women in power, may tend to be a little more aggressive. At least that's the stereotype, right? Also, that was a movie, but I don't think it's totally far-fetched. But a woman in power, number one, I think women, because they're less accustomed to rejection, probably don't handle it as well. Um, and so there's sort of this perception like if you come onto a man, he would never reject you. And talking to people I know, that is not the case. And they don't have, allegedly, they don't have any problem, you know, rejecting you and not like really caring about how it makes you feel. So, but my point is that I think if you sort of reject a woman outright like that, because she's not accustomed to it, she might not necessarily receive it, um, and accept it and move on. Now you're she's calling you all kinds of names. You sassy and you gay and a whole bunch of other whatever insults that she thinks, because like why would you not want her? Um I don't think I've ever been rejected like that. Why? Because I don't put my, like, if I have to know very obviously that you are attracted to me before I would ever even consider like initiating an interaction with you, like I'm not doing that. So, mm-mm. Get somebody else to do it. Now, rejection after the fact, I mean, look, hey, it happens to the best of us, right? But in advance, no, because I'm not gonna let you do that to me. Anyway, whatever. I'm going off on a tangent. Point is, um, that again, and that dynamic was a boss and her subordinate. And I definitely think if you are going to get involved, although somebody said they were managing someone that they were involved with, you're really setting yourself up for a problem. That is my opinion of that. Oh, bless Bethy says, I love working with my wife. It just gets complicated with coworkers in your business. Yup, especially if the coworkers are jealous of the relationship. For example, a coworker told my wife I was married. What? What? Wait a minute. Bless Bethy, would you come on and share your story? Because I'm confused. So if I was married, I would be cool with the work wife thing. It depends on how she looks. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I mean, if she's somebody that I think he might be attracted to, and she was being like clandestine and I didn't meet her and she acted funny around me, yeah, I'd have a problem with it. As I said, it depends. So it depends on if I think she's somebody that he would be attracted to. It depends on if we're like going through stuff. Um, as I said earlier, that's why you got to be your person's cheerleader, because if you don't hype them up, you best believe that somebody else will be there to do it. Um, and sometimes people feel like, whatever, like, I don't got to do that. Oh, yes, you do. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to do that? Like, why are you with somebody that you don't feel like you want to hype up? I don't, y'all are weird. I mean, I know everyone is not like that, but some of y'all, I that what energy is just super weird to me. Um, I'm not gonna lie, Dave Speed. Sometimes I might could be just a little bit jealous. I mean, what can I say? At least I'm honest, right? Um, are there rules that should be established, and what are some of them? It it de- it just it depends on so many factors. Like I said, if it's somebody that he's introduced me to, and her energy is giving like that's the homie, because most women, even men, if they're interested in your partner, um they give off those type of vibes. Like they can't mask those type of feelings. It's their energy, it's the way they interact with you, like you're in some kind of competition. I feel that. The problem is if your partner pretends like it's not a real thing and then makes you feel like you're jealous when you bring it to their attention, but it really is the case. So they act like they're cool, but in reality, they would happily take your man or your woman, in the reverse scenario. um do I remember the movie Obsessed with Beyonce and Idris? Of course I do. um and I feel like he was doing, I don't think he was leading that lady on. Um, if I recall correctly, she was nuts. I mean, a situation like that, he didn't really do anything. It was just a lady who was obsessed. I mean, he's fine as hell. Lady was obsessed. Wipe twice, video sports. Not messy, was single and doing me. The women ran their pie holes and that was an issue. Oh boy. Never mind. Chem D says, as long as it doesn't affect my paper and we are mature enough to keep it on the low. Yeah, so it's about discretion. It's about, even if you're in a like real relationship and it's not just smash and dash, um, I think discretion is important. Again, I've worked with people who were in a relationship, and yeah, I mean, obviously everybody knew they were in a relationship because they ended up getting married. I think they got married before I started working at this company. Um, but when they would like get into disagreements, it was a small company. It made it awkward for everyone around them. Like that's when it's weird because like you don't want to be in their business, but they're putting you in their business because they're married and they're having these lovers spats in front of you. It's like, okay, I want to get out of here. This feels like ugh. Or it's a scenario where people see that, and if maybe they low key have an interest in one or the other person, they'll use that to like, sow seeds of discord between the two of them and create drama. Well, that's what you get. So, maybe a lot of us, obesity to obsession says maybe a lot of us don't because it's not really a safe space to do so. Yeah, I mean, I think the opinions are sort of on both sides. Nola Legend says, ain't no way. Why don't y'all come on instead of just having me? I hate just talking to y'all in the comments, but um, Nola Legend says, ain't no way, son. If my girl ever came home and said some shit about a work husband, that'll be the last day she was mine. So basically, what you're saying is you're jealous. Um, do you? So let me ask you a question, Nola Legend. Do you honestly think? I talked about this a couple shows ago when I talked about the hall pass, that your spouse or partner or whatever will never be attracted to anyone else. I mean, as attracted as they can be to you, that does not mean they're not going to see somebody else that they're attracted to. Now, attraction doesn't mean you have to act on it, but I think there's I think when your partner is clearly focusing their attention on you and they're not giving you the impression that you're lacking in some way, and like I said, they hype you up and they're doing all these other things, then you're putting too much emphasis on a relationship that's probably insignificant. Now, if you're having problems in your relationship and then there's this other party involved who is like filling a void, then yes, I can understand why you might feel that way. But just generally speaking, like your person is gonna be around other men. And if she's fine, then they're gonna push up probably. So you just, you gotta have you gotta have the fortitude to deal with that, right? Um, Kemdi says, do you feel like men and women are often put in positions where they have to lie, especially in the beginning? Uh, yeah. Yeah, because dating is supposed to be about getting to know people and who you're compatible with, and um so that means that, like, when you meet somebody, right? um it's kind of wild to assume that there's nobody else that they're entertaining at all. Now, you can come out and ask that question, and maybe they're not going to tell you the truth, because a lot of men's, I'm speaking, from my perspective, a lot of men's egos can't handle the idea that there's somebody else that she might be giving her time or attention to. But in reality, if you think she's, all that, then why do you think that nobody else thinks that? Like, similarly, for a woman meeting a new guy, to assume, like, oh, there's nobody else, now he's gonna get rid of all his hoes. I mean, come on. Like, you maybe you don't want to think about that being the case, because you don't want to seem jealous or crazy or whatever. But I feel like after a time of being with them, you spend enough time together, um, and you feel like the feelings are evolving, then maybe then it's time to have the conversation. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think it's realistic to expect when you meet somebody who's supposed to be single that they're not dating anybody else. Also, dating doesn't mean sleeping with. That's where men go wrong, because that's the assumption that they make. Well, for y'all, that's probably what it means, but for a woman, I don't necessarily think that's what it means. But anyway, um, see, Yido, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Yido 75 says my work wife and my real wife have been introduced because you're a smart guy. I'm assuming they get along then. Fason Couture says most people can't handle the truth. People ask certain things for a politically correct answer. Um, I think sometimes because people think that honesty means they have to be an asshole. I think you can deliver the truth with love. I mean, maybe you don't love the person, but I think it can be delivered in a way that's not brutal. Um, people aren't going to feel how they feel. And I, unfortunately, care about how I make people feel sometimes. If they're an ass, then I don't care. But if they're nice, then I do care about how I make them feel. Also because I know I can be really mean when I want to. So I try to choose my words carefully, but I don't want to, like, suffer on my end because I'm worried about sparing somebody else's feelings. Like, yeah, that's wild. Um, Rob Jr. 44 says the worst work situations are the Christmas office party hookup. Those hardly ever turn out good. I mean, yeah, but that's probably not really going to be a thing. So, um, Okay, Mr. Carter, 7,000 says, not mine. I make it a point to discuss everything that needs to be discussed and some. I'm very transparent. More women should just be more receptive to that energy, especially when they ask for it. Um, I agree. I, I think those are probably the best type of relationships when you can be 100% authentic with your person and they don't kind of reject you for being that way. But it's tough. It's tough finding somebody who can really accept like all the nooks and crannies of you. Somebody made a great metaphor on my show a while ago. He said something about like people have to be able to accept the crumbs of you, not just the golden brown, you know, nice toast, right? They got to accept the crumbs too. And yeah, I agree. So, um, Greg Starr says, I had a really bad experience with that work husband crap. My ex ended up sleeping with her, so called yikes. Oh, wow. That's really terrible. Okay. He says, Greg Starr says, I had a really bad experience with that work husband crap. My ex ended up sleeping with her so called work husband in my bed while I was at work. Yikes. Um, you wouldn't want to join me on here, would you? That's really terrible. I'm sorry that that happened to you. So I can understand why you might have a very strong opinion on the topic. Um, okay. So obesity to obsession says emotional intelligence is extremely important. Speaking my truth and you aren't equipped to handle it, I'll simply refrain, unfortunately. I agree. But I also, I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I realized because I've talked about this as well, that I go to therapy. The way you communicate is different when you have those tools versus somebody who's never experienced that. Some people are very enlightened, like regardless, but most aren't. And so you're right, they can't handle like they have an emotional reaction um to you bringing up other people, um even if you're not really entertaining them. And I'm even me going through therapy, like I still be I still turn up. I'm a work in progress. But yeah, I mean, transparency and honesty are the goals, and finding someone who you can be your most authentic self with is the goal. It's really hard to do. Hence, how we got on the topic of love in the workplace. Like, it's hard to meet people, generally speaking. You spend so much of your time working, right? Um, so is that not a viable um option for you to consider when you're looking for love? I don't know. Maybe you're limiting your options because you're not, and maybe you don't want to look like in your immediate sphere of wherever you work, but like maybe a client that works with you. Well, I don't know. You see how it gets very tricky. Um my day job like provides me an opportunity to meet all different types of people that I don't necessarily have to interact with all the time. So potentially, that's a means by which I could potentially meet someone. Um I also work for a big organization, so I could potentially meet someone in the workplace and not work with them directly. So in that instance, I think it's possible, and it not be like a situation where everybody necessarily knows. And um, although I still don't necessarily think workplace loving is the most ideal scenario, I wouldn't prefer to meet someone I want to date where I work. But hey, you never know, right? So Mr. Carter says, I'm here for the lighthearted, open communication and the hard conversations, but a lot of people who are not emotional don't know how to deal with that. Or I maybe meant to say who are emotional. Mr. Everybody Eat says work relationships are messy, not really ever worth it because this is where you eat and earn yours. Why risk it involving those feelings of intimacy and etc. with a woman? Not worth it in my book. Um, Paul Lewis says, no, it's not. Women are aggressive when they're in power on the job. And I feel as though it's true in general. I don't disagree because when you are in a position of authority, unfortunately, because of society and the way it's set up, men won't necessarily respect you. They won't think that you're as capable. It's like you have to behave in a way that is perceived to be more aggressive, more masculine to be taken seriously. If you're too soft, if you're too like, if you're not decisive, if you're not if you sort of rely on those more traditionally feminine characteristics, then no, I don't think that they will take you seriously as a leader. So you're like kind of in between a rock and a hard place in that regard. So yes, some women have a hard time turning that off. Um, if you're dealing with somebody that you work with who's in a subordinate role, but again, that's probably why it's not the best move in general if it's somebody that works with you directly. Now, like I said, in the situation where I work, it's a large organization, so there's potential for me to meet somebody who I would never interact with at all, um, from a work perspective. Um, so let me see. I've been through the badgering, rejection. So does anyone else? I don't know who you're talking about, Mr. Carter. You said that boy just confused the whole chat. The white twice video sports. I love that attitude. He says the best part of rejection is the sun comes up the next day. Exactly. You're 100% right. And um, as I've said in the past, just because you might be fine and smart and you think you're sexy and your body and you got money and whatever you got, that doesn't mean that somebody's gonna want you. It just doesn't. Like, so people have to get over themselves and understand that sometimes, you just ain't for them. That's it. And there's other fish in the sea, and all that other cliche stuff. Um, okay, so Mr. Everybody Eats says, I'm a building engineer and the supervisor for security just pulled me to the side and asked me out. I can't do it. She's a super attractive woman, but as working together, I can't mix my business. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Good for you. Um, Ku Kuno says, even if your special person hypes you up, there still will be someone there to hype them up. It's on me how I handle the outside hype. Um, yeah, that's true. But you can rest assured that if you're not hyping or your special person is not hyping you up at all, and somebody else is there to like tell you, oh, you look good today, and you smell good, and you so smart, you so funny, and all that other type of BS. I mean, not that it's BS, but my point is like hyping you up like that, that you're gonna eat it up. You're gonna eat it up. And then you're gonna look at your girl at home, or a woman's gonna look at a man at home and be like, I like this energy over here, right? So that's why you have to balance out whatever is coming at them on the outside. That's again my take on it, but um, hi, 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 hi. So I can't believe that none of y'all. Oh wait, okay. So maybe I can actually add you, Greg. Rubber band man, I tried. Um, oh, at last. Okay.
Hey,
Hello. How are you? I'm tired of listening to myself talk shit.
I'm good. Hold on 1 second. Uh, yeah, so how you feel about that
Well,
though?
first of all, please say your name, introduce yourself to the people, tell them where you're
Oh, I'm
from.
Greg Starr. How y'all doing?
Wait, repeat yourself, please.
I'm Greg Starr. How y'all doing,
Okay.
everybody?
And Greg, where are you from?
Baltimore.
Okay.
I actually met you
Uh,
at the premiere Sunday.
oh, okay. Well, hi. So are you oh wait, you were the one that had that wild ass story. Are you single now?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I guess so after that. So remind the people of your story. I mean, I know they heard me say it, but if you don't mind. You
Yeah.
already
Well,
put it out there. So
Yeah. Well, my ex, she claimed this guy that you know that he was just a friend, whatever. My work husband, like you said, work husband. But and I accepted it. I mean, but yeah. Oh God, I can't even talking about this on live. Oh my God.
appreciate your transparency. I mean, that's I don't want you to say anything that you don't feel comfortable saying, but you did type it in the chat
No, you good.
respectfully.
You good.
So
Long story short, I mean, I was doing everything for her, taking care of kids. I mean, I was doing everything right. So I'm trying to figure out why this happened to me. I mean, why? I mean, what did I do wrong?
I'm sorry. That's really how long were you married?
I wasn't married. I mean, we was together for like 8 years though. 8 years. Yeah.
Was this recent?
Yeah, we broke up like about 6 months ago.
So, can I just repeat what you said in the chat
What?
because in case people missed what I said earlier. So this gentleman said his woman had a work husband that she slept with in their in their bed. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like that makes me ooh, that makes me sick for you.
Yeah.
That's grounds for a 187.
Oh yeah.
You didn't like catch them in the act.
Oh
Please don't tell me you caught them in the
nah, I'll be in jail right now.
Okay, well, I'm about to say, like, yeah, you was better than me because I, mm-mm. Well, that means she wasn't your person. Did she feel bad when you found out, or
And she act like she did, but yeah.
I'm
Mm.
sorry. So now do you think that all women are horrible?
No, I just it'd be a long time if I trust somebody else though. So
No, I totally get that. I totally get that. Um, so then I'm gonna guess your take is hail to the nah on
yeah,
on workplace relationships, huh?
absolutely. Guys, don't fall for that crap, man. Don't not fall for it, man. These women sneaky out here, sneaky.
So you would not date anybody that you work with.
Nah. Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. Well, I feel for you. That's a lot.
It is. Uh,
That's a lot, and I appreciate your your transparency. I also appreciate you turning the light on so that we can see
oh
you,
yeah,
because a lot of people will get on here and be in the dark, and
doing weird stuff. Yeah,
I wanna I
that's why
wanna.
I thought about that. So like, you trying to light out for you.
Well, they're not doing weird stuff. I'm
yeah,
just saying that they be in it's dark.
yeah.
So I have my lighting all set up. Like they're not getting on here with the expectation that like they're necessarily going to be on camera. So I get that, and that's also why I think a lot of women don't necessarily just come on because they want to keep it,
Right,
and they might be on
right.
chilling. So yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
Oh, so Sean, so you mess with women at Sean S. Dot Wizzle. You mess with women that you work with.
thanks,
Y'all
bro.
don't worry y'all don't worry about them because like I said, it's something that I hadn't even considered originally. But I mean, in this era, you could get like forget potentially losing your job. I mean, they could say anything about you, and you do not want a reputation as, like somebody said you assaulted them. Like some of these women are really vicious out here.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And like I tell my son a lot, and not because men don't do predatory things. I'm not saying that that's not a real thing. I am saying that sometimes, like I said earlier about women and rejection, that sometimes because the situation, the outcome didn't, turn out the way they wanted to, then they'll lie on you. So like I tell my son, just, be very careful who you're dealing with because they can potentially ruin your life.
Absolutely. And
Um,
one crazy thing she said though that really like tripped me out. She said that her mom told her to cheat on her man before he cheats on you. What kind of mom gives their daughter that kind of advice? Like, what the
somebody
hell is wrong with her?
who's traumatized. Yeah, I mean, come on. That's trauma, right?
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, but people, okay, Ferrari 5, yeah, you say and keep it simple, don't mix business with pleasure, but like let's say, you meet somebody at work, like you're super attracted to them and like y'all have like energy and chemistry and vibes and like they're smart and you get to see them outside of just physically. You get to see the more substantive level of them. So now you've fallen for this person. Are you telling me the lunchtime creeps are fire? Oh. um it changes when the fraternization comes with a superior though and subordinate. Yeah, so we talked about that earlier, I think, before you got on here, Sean. I definitely think that's bad. I think that's bad business. I think you have to be more, if those are the moves you're going to make, I think you have to be smarter about it. You can't deal with somebody who is like a direct report, 'cause you could really put yourself in a predicament. Now some people on here said they did. I mean, people gonna do what they want to do. That's not something I would advise, though. Um, yeah, attraction is attraction, of course. But you also have to have, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't think of the word I'm looking for. You have to have, damn, I cannot think
Brain fart.
because I've been talking for so long. Um, so does anyone else want to join before I wrap up? Because again, my takeaway is like people are kind of all over the spectrum. Obviously, I know how you feel, rightfully so. Um, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I mentioned early on that two men had DM'd me saying they married women that they met at work. One has been married for like 30 plus years. Yeah, I mean, I said, wow. And then the other guy, unfortunately, his wife passed, but they probably would still be married today. So, I think that's beautiful. I don't think that's the norm, though. I could be wrong. Maybe it depends on the industry. I don't know. I don't know. But so, my friend, I don't think anyone else is going to join,
All
and
right.
I appreciate y'all
Well, thanks for
sharing,
having
of
me.
course. So, I'm sure I'll be down in Baltimore again at some point. So we'll probably cross paths in real life.
Oh, you're not in Baltimore?
No, I live in Jersey.
Oh, you sure you came over to? Oh, wow.
Yeah, to support my friend, my homie, who was in the
Which
movie.
one?
Hollywood
Oh,
Tim.
Tim. Oh, okay. Yeah, Tim's a
There were
great guy.
two Tims, so I didn't know that until I got there because I was like, I'm here to see Tim. They're like, which one? I was like, I didn't know there was another Tim, but
Oh, yeah, Tim Trees. Yeah, he in the
yeah.
movie too. Well,
Um.
yeah. Yeah, as soon as I saw you, I said, "Yeah, can I get a picture with you?" As soon as I saw you, I said,
Oh,
"Wow, you looking great." There.
what's funny? I said. Now, this person is probably going, who knows what they're going to do with my picture later?
Oh no.
Duh.
I put on my story and that was it. I didn't even actually for
You
your
didn't even
Instagram
ask
and
my
that.
name. You didn't tag me or nothing.
Right.
See?
I know what? I got your Instagram from I think Alvin or some I forgot who I got it from, but yeah. Because I tag everybody, but I didn't have yours.
Yeah,
So.
well, you should let me see that so I can approve it for real. Nah,
It was
it's
nice
cool.
for you. It was nice
It's all
pictures.
good. It's all good. Um, okay, I'm gonna try to add him one more time, and then I'm gonna wrap this
All
up.
right.
So, anyway, thank you for joining
All
me and
right.
sharing your very sad
All
story. I'm sorry that happened to you, and I
right.
wish you whatever it is that you want moving forward. You know, if
I'm
you want
doing
a
good now.
heroin, ladies, if
I'm
you
doing
want.
good now. I'm doing good now. I'm doing movies and stuff now. I'm doing good now. TV shows. I'm doing good. So.
Do
Oh yeah, yo, check me out on Hush. This season 2. The show with Erica Mena on All Black Network. Check me out on there this season.
Oh, you on there with her?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, while we on the subject though, real quick,
Mhm.
I don't know if I feel like that was a racial slur.
I actually made a video on TikTok defending her actually.
Now you know her in real life.
Yeah.
I feel like the way they talk to each other in general is like, yeah, maybe she was saying it in reference to her appearance, but like when I first of all, I don't watch that show. Like at one point I watched it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I'm going off on a tangent real quick. But I don't know. I feel like we can't be selective, like we love to be selectively outraged.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm a fan of hers. I am saying that when I watch the clip, you start talking about like how somebody mothers their son. I wish somebody would come and say something to me about the way
Exactly.
I mother my
Exactly.
son. Now you want to tell me how I can feel, how I can respond to you? Go to hell.
Right.
Go to hell. Like, no, the filter is off. I already said you make me mad enough and I black out. I'm gonna talk about everybody and their
Right.
grandmother. So
I mean,
you better,
yeah, I think they took it too far, man. Because like she's first of all, it's not like she's a white woman. She's a woman of color with 2 black children. So come on now.
that doesn't
But
necessarily mean that well, yeah, but okay. So this conversation is going to go totally left
oh yeah,
if we because I do have some other thoughts on that. But in any case, since you mentioned her name, I just wanted to add that I feel like maybe that wasn't necessarily a slur in that case. Yes, if somebody came and called me a monkey, I would feel like it was a racial slur if it was coming from,
a white
a
person.
non-black
Right.
person.
Oh,
But just when I saw the whole clip, I was like, "Hmm, I don't know about this. Whatever. Anyway, also there was no backlash until it aired because y'all weren't worried about putting it on TV. Y'all didn't
that's
think
what she
that was
said.
going to be a thing.
That's what she
So
said.
stop
Like
it
wow.
now. Stop it. Anyway, but I digress. So, thank you again for joining, and thank you all. So you see yourself out. If I can say bye to the
Oh,
people.
all right.
I'll see you around. Um, yeah, so I appreciate y'all. And no, you cannot be in my live video because I told you it don't work like this. The next time, let me know in advance, Rubber Band Man. Um, but anyway, I appreciate y'all joining and enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Peace and fingers.